How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Thanks
good.
for having me. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for coming on. For those of you guys that don't know, this is Breckin Williams. He's owner of Better Than Most Golf Medals. Yep. We'll get into that here in just a little bit, but this is actually he and I's first time meeting.
Yeah, first time meeting, but a lot of chats through social media.
Yeah,
so it's like a soft greeting. It's all right.
Yeah, right. Warm introduction for
That's
sure.
Right.
So tell me about yourself, man. You're not so obviously we're here at Columbia Country Club in Columbia, Missouri, but you're not from Columbia, correct?
Nope.
Okay.
Not from Columbia. I grew up in the Joplin area. Went to Webb City High School in Southwest Missouri. After that, came to the University of Missouri, played baseball, and been here ever since.
Nice, man. So golf is not your first love. Baseball is.
Yes.
Okay.
I would say I lover of sports. I played everything growing up.
Yeah.
Baseball was always had my, passion.
Yeah.
But then now, it's golf.
It's golf.
So, yeah, it's transitioned very quickly.
I feel like that's kind of normal for guys post their primary sport. Like there's tons of football guys that are getting into golf nowadays, and baseball players and hockey players, because obviously golf doesn't take the toll on your body that, those other.
Yeah, and it's just freaking challenging. I think that's the biggest thing is like a lot of athletes transition into it, and I think the COVID area probably kind of just helped that because it was the only thing you could really do outside.
Yeah.
So I had a lot of buddies pick it up then, but then once you kind of start it, it's like you either play once and don't ever play again, or you're like I'm getting into it.
You got the bug.
Yeah, you got the bug.
Yeah.
So it's nice to see everybody getting out.
Yeah, that was a good point you brought up. COVID was huge for the game of golf.
Yeah.
I mean, because
just volume-wise,
the 6 feet of thing, 6 feet distance, that was so many people that had never played. It kind of sucked because there was a lot of people that got into the game that weren't exposed to the game from somebody who really knew golf etiquette and procedure. And so there would be at least in my experience, you would see a lot of, 25, 30, 40 handicaps getting on the golf course and just taking 20 minutes a hole or whatnot. But that's kind of subsided because like you said, it's hard, man. Golf's really tough.
Yeah.
So
it's like you don't know what you don't know, right? So when you're new to the game, you get there and I'm just gonna whack the ball around. I gotta finish the hole, and no one knows I'm just go pick it up.
Yeah,
give
you're
me
a
double and let's get the hell out of here.
Yeah, right. So played your college ball here in Missouri, Mizzou, pitcher for those of you guys that don't know. And from your college experience, you went and played some pro ball, to what I know. Right?
I did, yeah. I was fortunate. I was drafted by the Arizona Diamondbacks. Played 6.5 years with them, and then was released in June of 21. Finished that season with the Twins organization.
Yeah.
And then retired that fall.
Gotcha. Cool, man. Well, so from there, obviously, you were already playing golf a little bit, or was it just post your pro ball you found it and started?
No, I always played growing up. I think I did 2 years of junior golf back at Brybrook Country Club in Carl Junction, Missouri. Always played golf. My grandpa, my dad, everyone. It's kind of what we did as a hobby.
Yeah.
I always really, really enjoyed it. And then as I got into college, we had a good group of guys that played around here on our off days and stuff like that. And I always really enjoyed it. But then once I got drafted, bought my first set of nice clubs and got fitted and kind of got the bug then. And then really had a lot of injuries when I was playing pro ball. So had some free time that whenever I wasn't hurt or I was able, I got to the only thing I could do athletically was golf.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of where I think the seed probably really planted that I was it was more of a passion than just a hobby.
Yeah.
But yeah, I always played. I've always really, really enjoyed it. But then post baseball career, it's just been a slow build up of now it's an obsession. Now it's I want what my son watches. It's what I watch. There's so many outlets now, content of YouTube and whatever it may be. I can find golf and I can find information that I want at any time. And that's what I'm doing. Yeah. It's a lot, but I enjoy it.
That's awesome, man. You mentioned your son. We'll kind of segue right into that, into your family. So you got a wife and a son, just one kid, right?
Yeah, one son. He'll be 2 in February. Wife going on 7 years, Morgan.
Nice.
So it'll be 7 years in December.
Yeah.
So, just...
What's your son's name?
Brooks.
Okay, cool, man. Was that inspiration of from Brooks Koepka, or was it just
no? I honestly, it was funny. I am a big Brooks fan. I was upset about when he left PGA to live. He was kind of my guy I was riding, and I still do. And I get the money aspect of it. But there wasn't really any inspiration of it. I would rephrase that. I would say inspiration, not named after.
Yeah.
I liked how he carries himself and stuff like that.
Yeah.
My one, thing that was when we were naming our son was he needed to be a BJW. my dad's a BJW, so he's a Brett Joseph. I'm a Breckin Joseph.
Okay.
My firstborn son was going to be a B Joseph Williams.
Okay.
And so we went through names, and Brooks is what we landed on.
That's cool, man. That's exciting. More kids in the future?
That's the plan. That's the plan. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Not too many more. Like, I'm hoping one more, maybe get a girl, and we'll call it quits. And hopefully have some money at some point.
Yeah. Well, before we started this, you'd mentioned, you come from a huge family, so you've experienced that.
Yeah.
Tone it back a little bit.
Yeah. Like Cole said, I'm one of 10 or 11 now. I don't know.
Yeah.
All half
start losing count after 5.
they're all like family just shows up and we're family at this point. But no, very fortunate to live in a big family and I do have a stepbrother that's older than me. He's like 2 months older than me, 6 weeks, but I'm taller, so I'd say I'm the oldest. So it's just it's a game we play.
Sure.
But no, very fortunate to grow up in a big family. Very, very loving. My parents never married, so growing up in split homes, like, it's tough to navigate. But I think that I couldn't be more blessed with the families that I have, and still really close with all of them, and see them all around the holidays and whenever I get home. So
yeah, that's great. So back to your specific golf life. You started playing really heavily, when you were in college, like you mentioned, and then after that, obviously, you're primarily focused on playing your pro ball, but the itch was there. I mean, you had that was established. Do you have, at this point in your life, now that you're not playing pro ball and it's just work and family, do you have any aspirations to play any type of competitive golf? I mean, you're a competitor, you're an athlete. Obviously, I think those guys that get into golf, as much as they love golf for the challenge itself, probably want to compete a little bit too.
Yeah, absolutely. That was one of the big reasons of trying to get a membership or getting out here at CCC, was just to have those opportunities.
Yeah.
But I've been playing in like amateur tours around here the last handful of years. I think it's called the APT.
Yeah.
Play around here the last couple of years, just to kind of get the juices flowing.
Yeah.
Definitely have aspirations for more, but I'm very aware of where I'm at, and I know how good the guys are out there, even the amateurs, and
for sure
the difference between a scratch and a 2 is a pretty significant difference. And walking into being an opening 2 in a big tournament, I'm already mentally all right, I'm here to just play and see how good I can do, and I'm not going to win. Yeah. And so I'm trying to get myself in a spot where I can go out there and give myself a chance before I do that. But definitely, I wouldn't say big aspirations. I want to compete at the highest level I can.
Yeah. See wherever that.
Wherever that lands. And I kind of found a home with the APT thing of tournaments aren't that big, but you get some 15, 16 guy tournaments out there, and it feels real. You get your name announced off the tee box and all that stuff. But there's not the USGA signs up, or there's no open qualifying going on in my life yet. But I hope so in the future.
Yeah. Well, with your handicap where it's at right now, I mean, the mid-am might be a next stepping stone for you. I don't know if you've looked at that at all, but I think it's a 4 handicap requirement or somewhere in
Ironically,
there.
That's what I'm looking at this year. So I think this past year was my second year with it on the APT tour. I was lucky enough to win twice. But again, with those scores, I'm well aware of even it feels good to win, but I'm not where I want to be for kind of the USGA stuff. But this year, my goal is I think I can get my handicap down to a spot where trying to go to the qualifiers for the Missouri AMs, if possible, and then the mid AM stuff. But I want to get more on the USGA side of things a little bit. I know that to me is official golf, if that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure.
APT tour, I'm going to play a tournament, and in my head I'm very serious, but my wife's you're just gonna go play a golf round, and so I'm aware of what it is, but it's fun.
Do they play it in the APT events? Do they play it down?
It depends on the day. Yeah. But typically it's down everywhere.
If it's conditions.
Yeah. So I played in I don't know, 7 of them now, 8 of them. Try to do one a month throughout the summer.
Nice.
And typically we play it down, but if there's weather, it's up in the fairway, or it's very, very, I would say, loose. But then you get on the course and you hit a ball on the hazard, you're talking to your players. Everyone does take it serious, and it's a lot of fun. But I met some cool dudes out there too, so it's been a fun run.
Yeah. What are the courses you've played on that tour? Are they pretty nice? Or
it's kind of, they have tours all over the country, so you can go play in any of the tours you want. But I play in the Mid-Mo one, so we played out here at CCC. Played in Redfield.
Okay.
Where else? Tanglewood.
Yeah.
Shoot. Where else have we played? Eagle Knoll.
Yeah.
Kind of just all over Mid-Mo, and they're solid courses, and they kind of change up every year, but definitely try and hop in the ones that are at the country club. They're like, I've never played Redfield, so then play Redfield this
Where's
year.
that at? I've never even heard of that.
Eldon.
Oh, okay.
It's a nice track.
Eldon's there, yeah.
It's right off the highway. It's a good track. It's a fun course.
Okay.
It tore me apart that day because I was in shambles for those 6 weeks. But, but it was a good course, and I would definitely recommend it.
Okay. Yeah, I'll have to go down there. For my full-time job, I have a customer in Eldon, so I have to go down there once every few months. So.
It's right out. You'll see it right off 54 there.
Okay.
Right off the highway. At Redfield, there's it's like a restaurant. It's like a baseball themed, I think, name.
Yeah.
And it's literally right off the highway.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Well, have you ever had a caddy for you?
I haven't. That's actually something I've always wanted to at least play somewhere.
Yeah.
That I could get a caddy, because I think a lot of where I'm at playing at the moment is I have a pretty solid handicap, and I've never had a lesson.
Yeah.
Or outside like junior golf when I was young, but I'm self-taught and I just kind of grind. But I think course management is something that I could probably improve upon. I'm aggressive in nature, and so if there's a chance to make a great shot, a lot of times I take it. Whereas I could probably save myself a couple strokes if I tone it back. In my experience, I've gone too far the other way, to where I just played safe all the time. I never went for par fives, and it's like, okay, now I'm not scoring at all.
Yeah, right.
So I think getting a caddy, I think, would be great. Especially in like a tournament atmosphere. Yeah, reading greens, or just affirmation that what I'm seeing is actually true. Yeah, and I can trust it a little more.
For sure. Well, I'll formally extend the offer if you want to, man. I've caddied for a lot of people, and so I really like it as much as I love playing and competing. But I like caddy, man. It's out there. Being out there, I think, is really fun, and I myself am guilty as anybody else when competing, is that you naturally kind of rush. You know, you get a little bit out of what you do when you're just playing on your own, practicing at your club or whatever. And so for me, because I've had people caddy for me many times too, and that's the biggest thing, is getting you to slow down, take a deep breath. It's okay, you know. Tiger Woods, I think, said it best. Is, you know, he really has played ultra conservatively most of his career, but he doesn't actually attest to that. He says, I play extremely aggressive to a spot, right?
And it's fantastic. It relates a lot back to pitching. Like, you can have great command and great control, and, you know, pick your asterisk or whatever it is, but a lot of times it comes down just like, where do I need this ball to get, and I got to get it there.
Yeah, for sure.
I've watched, you know, all those videos and everything. It's been great. Yeah. I think all that stuff's great.
Yeah. Cool. Well, best of luck in that in the future. You know, hopefully, I hope you do pull the trigger and get to the point in your own confidence where you do some USGA events, because the talent level just skyrockets immediately. And, you know, you as somebody who's played sports at a high level, you know that there's no better way to improve your own game than to play with people that'll beat the piss out of you.
Yeah. And, you know, this is what you try and do out here, is like, I think one of the big reasons of playing or getting into a club was just to play people that I knew were better than me. Right? Yeah. And then try and play with them every time, just because I'd find myself playing with guys that, you know, buddies on the weekend, that it's more of like a drinking outing and stuff like that, which I think is great. I think it's an awesome outlet, but my game would go down because of the atmosphere around me. And then when I started to get a little more serious about it, it's like, started drinking less when I was playing. And now it's like, I'll just come, even if I can play 3 or 4 holes, like it's a very intentional 3 or 4 holes, trying to improve on something that, you know, I was doing bad the time before or whatever it is. And I got a friend of mine that goes and play college golf, and he does the US Open qualifier every year. And he's trying to get me to go with him this year. He's like, you got to figure out what it's about. Yeah. He's like, you go out there and shoot 85, you shoot 85, you go home. He's like, but you go out there and compete, and then it gives you confidence. Like, who knows what that does for your game. So we've talked about doing that, and we'll see where the wind takes me. But I am very realistic of the opportunities. And so I want to make sure I'm in a good spot if I'm ready to do that. Yeah, for sure. Well, hopefully we'll get me and you out together to play some golf and film some content for both, you know, YouTube, IG. But we'll kind of segue, man, into your business, Better Than Most. So tell me about that. Just when did it start? What was, you know, why did you decide to do ball markers? Man, I think it was birthed out of boredom's not the right word, but I had some free time. So I got like, I'm a healthy, you know, 31-year-old, but I got a pretty bad sickness about a little over a year ago now, where I got 6 weeks off of work. Basically, I'd strep, end up getting like myocarditis and pericarditis in my heart. So it's just like inflammation of the muscles around your heart. And so they're like, yeah, you can't do anything for 6 weeks. Let's just go home and chill. Fully healthy now, no issues. All checkups have gone great, but it was kind of just a crappy 6 weeks. And so at the time I was coaching at the University of Missouri for the baseball team. And you can't, if you're not on the field with the players, there's not a whole lot you can do outside of programming and stuff like that. And we kind of accomplished the layout of our program plans for all the players at that time. So I was home for 6 weeks from end of September to beginning of November time. I'm watching the golf year end up, and I'm just trying to keep myself busy. And I always like ball markers. I've always been kind of a gear junkie, whether it was gloves, bats, golf clubs, whatever it may be. Like I always wanted I wouldn't say the newest and shiniest thing, but like I do my research and I find anything that
stuff you like.
The stuff I like or the stuff I believe would make me better. And golf's one of the few sports I think that like getting the right equipment does make a big difference.
Yeah.
And so I was just kind of going through that stuff, and I actually ran across I'm blanking on his name now. It's a ball marker guy on Instagram. He makes it for all the PGA guys and sends them out. And I was like, man, I think I could do that.
Yeah.
And started toying around with it. Ended up actually making some for the Mizzou alumni baseball tournament that year through my mom's metal fabrication business. And they turned out great, and they were laser engraved, and they were cool, but they didn't quite look how I wanted them to. So then I started like, well, how do I get the coins he has? And so I just started doing research. And then before you know, I was like, okay, I can find a supplier pretty easy for these. And I was like, well, how does he get the stamps and all this stuff? And I was like, okay, I can get these. And before you know it, 6 weeks in, I'm getting an LLC, and I'm like, I can
do this, man.
I can, just do it out of my garage. And it's a fun little hobby, and just grind at it. And then I found a guy that I can outsource my laser work to. And
so I was going to talk about that a little bit as your process. I don't know if it was all laser, if you do any stamping.
So mainly hand stamping. It kind of comes in waves. I've noticed that however much content I put out is typically how much interaction I get. So like over the summer I kind of slowed down big time because I was playing more. I wasn't, I have a real job and all that stuff. So if I had free time, I was going to play. But then like anytime I'd post a lot, I'd get a lot of, DMs or, hey, can you do this type of thing? And not my thing. I was just like, I'll do whatever you want. You tell me what you want and I'll figure it out type of thing. But most of it's hand stamping. We'll go through a way where if I do some laser work and post it, get a lot of people wanting laser work and that kind of thing. But I'd say generally it's hand stamping just because I can give them exactly what they want. And I don't know. I think it's a little bit cheaper because of not having to do the laser and the labor on it. But and I just kind of built a stamp collection from there. Kind of started with bare minimums, and then anytime well, can you do this? Like, let me find it. I found a stamp. Do you like this? Yeah, cool. Got it. And we kind of moved from there, and it's kind of grown a little bit, and like had a pretty good first year, I would say. And so it just comes down how much work I put into it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Well, that's anything in life really, but so better than most, obviously. I'm assuming any golfer listening is going to know where that comes from. Do you have any, aspirations to expand the line, like do other products, put your brand on head covers? Or
I've looked a lot into like
gloves, hats, whatever,
head covers. I looked a lot into like yardage books and covers like that. But I don't think I'm going to go that route. Like for me, it's like a lot of this is managing the volume. Like I don't want to blow up too much to where I can't get to the guys. Because right now, if I get 20 orders in a week for 20 to 30 ball marks, I can get them turned over in a week.
Okay.
So I can get it turned around pretty quick for people. I don't want to overload myself on the other side of life as a dad and real work. But I do plan on doing divot tools this year. So I've made a couple personal ones just to see how they look and how they feel. And I've kind of like actually my supplier that I get my ball markers through actually has a single prong divot tool that I got the other day. Actually came out here and jacked around with it 2 Sundays ago and really, really like it. It's real simple, but I think it's something that people will like. Looking at doing like a 2-pronged option, I just can't figure out the price on it because of getting the piece, plus it would be mainly just a laser type option. So, but again, it's one of those things, if I post it on my social media and people hit me up, I'll make it happen. Like, or I'll give you,
there's a demand for it.
I'll give you a quote. Like, I'll figure it out. And if you don't like it, you don't like it. Cool. But if you're good with it, like, let's figure out how to make it happen. Doing bag tags too.
Okay.
And so I made a handful of bag tags. That one's been kind of a little bit more of an adventure because I can't seem to find the right thickness of either copper or stainless or brass, whatever kind of metal I'm using, that is thick enough to have some weight and look good and feel good on the bag,
Yeah.
and not get stamped through to where it kind of shows and kind of pinches on the backside.
Yep.
And so it's been, I don't know how many samples I've ordered, but I can't figure it out quite yet. But
Sure.
the laser ones look good. Like I do have, I've just with my logo on, I got one on my bag. I gave it to a couple buddies and they love them, but I could just get the blanks of that and laser engrave on it. And so I'm planning on doing that as an option here soon.
Okay, cool. I didn't even think, man. Did you happen to bring any of them with you?
I have my bag in my truck.
Okay.
So I have some of like my personal ones I could bring in. I should have probably thought about that.
No, that's all right.
Because I have like anything that I've messed up or any of my personal ones that I just kind of keep on a rotation. I keep on my workbench out in the garage, and I literally looked at them this morning. I was like, I should probably just grab all of these just as examples. And
Tell the people out there listening and watching your handle. What's your social media handle?
I think it's better than most GM, so better than most golf medals.
Yeah.
I can actually check that. We run pretty much only through Instagram.
Yeah.
I do have better than most GM.
Yeah.
I do have like a contact and an email and a phone, my phone number connected to that Instagram. But most people just go through the DM. It keeps everything in one place for me. But then I'll get text. Like once people DM me, like, hey, here's my number. If you want to do this quicker, shoot me a text. But then I got an email too, which I've got hit up a couple times through. But it's kind of everything runs through DM. Kind of got a couple questions, and most of the time, the nice work when you're doing personalized or customized items, people know what they want.
Yeah.
So hey, can you do this?
Yeah.
Yes. Cool. And they're like, it's either how much, or it's like, well, what edgings do you have, or what do you offer here? And then it's like more of, I wouldn't say necessarily a sell. It's just bringing them the right information so they can make the decision that they want.
Yeah. Cool. Sorry, I lost my train of thought for a minute. But what I was going to say to you guys is I'll make sure to put all your info in the description for anybody out there. Check out his stuff. He does really good work. I've seen it. Like I said, we've kind of been in touch through social for the last, 4 or 6 months. And
it's been a long time.
We haven't been able to connect until literally today, which is, I'm glad we were able to do it. But nonetheless, I'll put that stuff in there for you guys to be able to check it out. I remember what I was going to ask. Do you guys, have you been in a position to have to turn anybody away, or just say, hey, like I won't be able to get to you for a month or something just because you get a massive influx?
No, nothing like that. Nothing too crazy.
Okay.
Typically,
I just wonder because you're doing all the work yourself.
Yeah, to cover my
pile up quickly.
Yeah,
especially with custom jobs.
Yeah, the guy that does my laser, like obviously that's not the only thing he's doing. So like most of the time, if I'm dropping off stuff to get that work, hey, what's the timetable for me? But just as a general rule of thumb, like I tell most of my clients, like it's a 2-week turnaround.
Okay.
So if you buy it on a Friday, I'll get it out the door in 2 Fridays at least. And then most of my clients are from Missouri, just based off probably Instagram's algorithm and whatnot. During the spring and summer when the golf season's kind of going on, I'll get some more. Like I've sent 3 over to Europe, which has been like a pretty cool experience.
That is sweet. Did you know the people?
No, they're like
that's great.
Big time. Like they were all golf ball marker like collectors.
Yeah. Like
they would send me pictures of their entire wall, like entire thing. They'd have every course, and like you can just tell like they see when they buy it and they collect them and all this stuff. So it's been a weird thing kind of figuring out pricing with that with customs and stuff like that. Because I refunded the guy some money just because when they got over, he's like, yeah, I had to pay 20 euros more for this. I was like, hey, no worries, like here.
Yeah.
Like it's been interesting figuring that out. Sent some to Canada.
Wow.
Like it's been interesting how it's all kind of built out. And cool experiences, but most of them is centrally located in Missouri. A lot of golf hotbeds too, right? Like I can kind of send out a location like at the waste management, like this, that, and the other, and then I'll get 5 orders from Scottsdale, or Myrtle Beach, or wherever it may be, right? Like kind of attack courses and PGA events, or just stuff within the golf world.
Like you said, the hot spots.
Yeah, the hot spots, and then people are there and they see it and they're like, oh, this is that, and I think my prices are pretty fair. Like I know they're pretty fair compared to like the big dogs in the industry.
Yeah.
They can do a lot more than I can.
Right.
So it's understandable.
Yeah.
But I think it gives people a fair price, and like it's a straight up price. It covers shipping and everything. Like you pay that, it's done.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been fun.
That is sweet, man. I mean, only in basically 18 months, or a little less than that, right?
Yeah, I think I started it October 31st of last year.
Okay. So like really just you turned 13, a year.
13, 14 months. And it's kind of, started out the gate really hot because it was like the perfect time to do it because it was Christmas.
Yeah.
It was,
that's a great gift.
Yeah, and it hit, and it was like everyone that I knew that like wives and stuff were like, I never know what my husband, he wants golf stuff, and like I don't want to put, and one of my friends' wives did it, and then it was just 10 people in a row, and then everyone was doing it, and then you have a couple people that have repeat customers. So some guys want like, oh, I have a new idea, I want this, and you have some people that like buy one, like I'm gonna use it forever.
Yeah.
And so it kind of like really, really took off up until about March or April, to where at the point some weeks I have 20, 30 ball markers to get through, and I'm like, it's Friday night and I just want to sleep, but I'm like,
I gotta get them done.
So here we go. And so there's been some late nights and fun stuff like that, but for the most part, like it's been really manageable and give me some extra cash to play golf with and all that kind of thing. So
that's really cool, man. I mean, I'm guessing you probably didn't expect that only a year after you'd be shipping your brand to internationally, let alone just here in Missouri.
Yeah, that was probably the coolest thing, was getting a couple of, I think it was three guys over there, and they all were connected.
Yeah.
Like, so I sent one to one guy, then the next guy followed me, and the next guy, and I was like, they all follow each other, and it was like a tree, and it was really cool. But it's been it was just a cool thing to say. Like, it's a cool kind of like, hey, by the way, I've done this before. Right. It gives me a little bit of validity, I guess. But
and confidence too, moving forward. That, like, hey, you're making good stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, most people really like any type of custom work, especially if the quality's there. And I mean, word of mouth is the fastest way, to get that.
And I'm not the best marketer. Like, I'll pay for some Instagram ads, and I'll kind of push that to certain areas and stuff like that. But for the most part, it's word of mouth, and then just my own content of either playing and using the ball markers, or any marker I make, I try and it gets its own post.
Yeah.
And it gets targeted to Kansas City or St. Louis or Scottsdale or Myrtle Beach, or just to spread the word. But I think like in the future, my goal is, I'd love to get into like country clubs or for me, I think most important, it would be like the high school and collegiate teams in this area.
Yeah.
I have a really good connection with Mizzou, and I've talked to the coaches over there, and hopefully there's something in the works there to where I can help either with the alumni association or somewhere on like kind of like the alumni side and donor side of like gifts for them when they come in to see the players, or they're donating money, like they get something from me.
Yeah.
Or they come in to play around with the coaches, like I get to give this to them, and it's like a specific gift type thing.
Yeah.
But Columbia College, like all the high schools around, like eventually I have to get to a spot where it's just kind of like almost like on a retainer thing. Like every year, everyone who plays gets a marker or two markers or
bag tag or something,
whatever they want, or something like that. And then I think if that does happen, I could see it taking off just a little bit more, just because of the awareness it would bring to golfers around.
For sure.
And one thing I've learned like through this process is like, some people just aren't interested. Like, I have some of the golfers that I like, because to me, like, if you're a golfer, like, oh, this is in, like, you'd want something like this. But I have some buddies that just wax me on the course and like are far better than me. They're going to use a dime every time, or they're going to use a tee, and they don't want a ball marker. They're not going to use it unless they're in a tournament.
Yeah.
And it's just not important to them.
Yeah.
But then you got guys that think it's the coolest thing in the world. They order 5 on their first order. And so I've learned to I don't ever like try and sell. Like, it's pretty cool to go play with people you don't know, and you put down like personalized one I've used, and like, where'd you get that? Then it's a talking point, and a touch point.
And it's organic.
It's organic, and I can move on. And then I've played with guys out here that I think I was playing with somebody the other day that I played with 13 times, and he was bragging about a ball marker he had made for him from somebody else. And I was like, hey, what the hell?
Yeah.
And he goes, I didn't know you did that. I'm like, I've played with you for 10 months.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you did.
Yeah.
And so like, some people just don't. Like, I think genuinely he didn't know. Like, like, so people just don't pay attention. Some people just don't care about that little thing.
Yeah, right.
But then like the right crowd does. And
sure.
So it's just more bringing awareness to what you offer.
Yeah.
And getting it out. And so to me, I think as a high school kid, I think it'd be great.
Yeah.
College kids that are trying to go professionally probably don't really care their ball marker too much.
Right.
But then you have someone that, maybe has a really specific mental process.
Yeah.
And they want a reminder every time.
Yeah.
I might be able to get that guy.
Yeah.
Type of thing. So it's been cool to see the different clients and everything roll in.
Yeah. You had brought up a point a couple minutes ago about possibly getting into like clubs. I wanted to ask about that, so obviously everything you're doing right now is custom. You don't have any just like production ball markers that you're doing that would be an option to get into a club, or retail or whatever.
I think that's the hard part too, is because it's like anything that I would do like that, as far as like a line of items or like generic, would be my ball marker, or it has been done, or like my logo, or it has been done in the sense of, everyone has like the ceramic little ones at every course, or like your college team and this, that, and the other. So I don't really want to get into that. And I like, so my corns are 1.25 inches in diameter and 1/8 inch thick.
Okay.
And they're made out of copper, stainless, and brass. So they're heavy corns. Like you feel them in your pocket. Like I like that feel. Yes, they do get in the way around the hole, but like carry a dime. Like we can easily get around that.
Just take your putter head length.
Move it out of the way. Like it's not a big deal. But the clubs, it's hard because you want to make it something either specific to the club or specific to events, right? So like we have like the Stymie out here, like the junior golf, like those are the kind of things that I'm hoping to get into at some point, where it's just like, hey, every year for this event, I need X amount. And here's the design I want.
Special order.
And then I do any orders over 10, I quote. So I try and do the best price I possibly can. Like I'm not trying to make a living at this. This is all, it's a passion. It's a passion. It's a hobby. I enjoy it. And, if I can buy a putter or 3-wood and maybe some wedges every year, that's great. If not, like I'll take my balls and gloves and whatever it is. So I try and just make sure I cover myself and then go from there. Like I've done a handful of orders where like pretty much all the ones over to Europe was like I basically just broke even. Like it was but the fact that I got to send it over there was a big deal. And it, it's a good feeling. So outside anything over 10, it's just a quote, and I'm trying to get you the best price. And that's been kind of like I sent some quotes out, some like 200, 300, 500 piece quotes out, and it's just hard to get, especially hand stamping, like what's the labor like, what's this like. And so most of the time when we get to like larger amounts like that, I'm looking at laser only, just because it's just too much for one person probably.
Sure.
And so, but it's been interesting to see where we've gone and like where it's going.
So in 5 years time, you would be content just expanding your customer base, shipping to more and more places, and letting the the brand grow organically, but just really just doing the same stuff you're doing now. Like you said, maybe get a few other products in the mix, but
I think keeping it relatively small is good. Like I don't ever plan to hire anybody. Like my son comes out now and he's not even 2, and we'll sit down and we'll color. We'll color the ones I'm working on, or he'll come out and just want a hammer, so we'll jack around him. I don't know, he's got 3 or 4 in his bedroom. He just hammers around, and
that's cool.
But and I'd like to have like a pretty set product line at that point. Of like, this is what I do. Here's the process, and hopefully have those 5, 10, 12 events a year from varying clubs or various teams that like I know what money is going to come in. Anything else on top of that's extra. And then hopefully just every year that we do that and get to meeting new people, new players, new clubs, and it just kind of expands and then see where it goes.
That's cool, man. I mean, I personally have never really seen like, and I'm sure there's quite a few people out there doing this, but I've never really seen people doing like custom ball markers.
It was kind of ironic to get on them. Like once you start looking, you find more.
So, like
around here, there wasn't anything like that going on. I couldn't find anything. I know there's a really good company in Kansas City. I think there's 2 in Kansas City that make them, like Liberty ball markers. I don't know if you ever heard of them. And then maybe another one that kind of did it really. It weren't really a golf business. It was like a laser engraving business. But they would promote golf, but it wasn't like they did golf ball markers. But there wasn't a whole lot. Like Golf Life Metals is the guy.
Okay.
I think his first name's John. I've talked to him a lot. He helped me in like what markers.
He's out of Kansas City too?
No. He's actually out of New York. He lives and plays on Bethpage all the time.
Oh, sweet.
And like he's the guy that like he'll post like Rory uses his ball marker.
Okay.
And
I've seen that one that just says Roars on it.
I haven't quite. He makes them for the Ryder Cup. Every 2 years. I haven't quite figured out how he gets them to the players, but I'm working on.
Well, if he's at Bethpage Black, I'm sure he's got a connection.
I think he's got a connection, and I think a lot of times he just like, hey, the memorial's coming up.
Right.
I know he's going to be there. Send it. Right. I think that's the route he's going.
Yeah.
But I actually, like, ironically, like I got really excited over the summer. on the live tour, the range goats,
Yeah.
their social media liked like a handful of my posts.
Okay.
And so I started just messaging them.
Yeah.
They liked right away. It was like
Yeah.
12:30 a.m.
inbox.
here, and I'm like, hey, what's up? I can do this for you guys.
Yeah, yeah.
And I get like no response. So finally, I just went out and I made my own.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, how about I just make them? I'll send you a picture. You just tell me where to send. It doesn't need to be a personal address. You just tell me how to get it to them.
Yeah.
And send it. I got like a heart. So I spent, I don't know, designing these things. Like it was like the most serious I'd ever been, and they're beautiful ball markers.
Yeah.
But then I can't get an address. I can't figure out where to send them. But I was like really excited. I was like, man, if I can get these out there, like, it takes one post.
Yeah.
You know, It takes one person to see them.
Yeah, man.
Or who knows, like Bubba Watson's on YouTube, and
yeah,
no, nothing ever happened. They're still sitting on my table, and I'm waiting for the moment to try and figure out what to do with them.
Yeah.
But like just stuff like that, trying to figure out, just kind of following the model what other people do.
Yeah.
Like I know what John's done up there with the Golf Life has been pretty cool, and he does laser work, does all the same stuff, but like he makes it happen.
Yeah.
And it's pretty impressive. So I just kind of follow him, and I ask him a lot of questions as far as techniques of stamping and what kind of markers you use on the metal, and what kind of acetone to use. Like how do you not get smears every time, and just learning along the way.
Yeah, that's cool, man. I mean, can you really, I guess, you have the process down for the most part, but is there room for improvement in the quality? I mean, we're just talking about metal and laser engraving and stamping.
I think the laser engraving could be better. I think I'd have to probably pay more to get it done. Like it just depends on kind of your design and like how deep do you want the etching. Like
tighter tolerances.
Like are we going over it 3 or 4 times, or are we just putting it on once? So I've kind of toyed with that a little bit. The hand stamping is always an ongoing thing. Like one time you do really great work, and the next time you're like, I can't do a straight line right here. And like most of the time people aren't doing straight lines.
Yeah.
So like I's and L's, they stamp deeper. So if I hit that too hard, everything, it looks like it's cratered into the ball marker, and the rest of them are like,
and probably produces a shadow too, I'm guessing.
Shadow, just deeper, darker color. So a lot of it just kind of depends, like different. I have like a beer glass stamp. Like can't use it on stainless. Can't hardly use it on brass. Like it's pretty much a copper stamp only because of like how tight the lines are together. Yeah. It just skives. So it scratches it, or I have to hit it 800 times and it doesn't look good. Like I just know, like you can, if you want it, I'll try. Yeah. Understand. I give them the heads up, understand, like it might look like 3 beer cans together. Yeah. You know.
Interesting. Okay.
It is other stamps you kind of figure out along the way. They're like, this isn't going to happen. Like, or I use I have like I think a 1.5 pound mallet, or a 1 pound mallet, and a 3 pound. Like 3 pounds always going to get used on the stainless. It's the hardest metal. Yeah. Yeah. The copper, I have to use the 1 pound, and I have to hold it, near the head, because I'm not trying to bury this thing in there. Yeah. It's too soft, like just touching it alone does stuff. So that you kind of just learn that along the way. Yeah. Because you'll be looking at it like, man, that looks really good, but then you take the picture and it's like, oh, that iPhone camera really changes things to the human eye. So yeah, it's just like anything else. Like you get a certain lie on a chip, you can kind of expect what to do, and you remember it the next time, or you get something you don't remember, and you're like, oh, now I do. Yeah. Just learn on the go. Yeah. Run with it. For sure, man. Okay. Well, like I said, we'll put all your stuff in the description. If there's anything else you want to touch on with your business, or talk about, promote while we're right here, man, is there anything? No, I don't know. I think people should just enjoy golf, man, and get out and do it. I think it's I have buddies now that used to give me crap. I actually have one buddy that was my college roommate, gave me crap for golfing on our off days. Stupidest sport. He's like, why are you wasting your time? Like, he's like, let's just hang out, blah blah. He's a golf pro in Michigan now. Like he did went to college, played baseball, got into college coaching, coached professionally for a year or two, and then got out of baseball coaching and was teaching. Yeah. Just randomly picked up golf and was like, I'm going to be a PGA pro. And now is a golf pro in Michigan. And I think you see that kind of happen over and over with people. Like, you got to give it some time. I think it's, especially if you're walking, like it's a great piece of exercise. For sure. It's great therapy. Yeah. So sometimes the reason you need therapy. In my case, a lot of times I get angry out there. Yeah. But no, I think it's just it's a great sport to be around. I'm passionate about it. The people you meet are just different than any, going out and playing pickup basketball. You don't really talk, whatever. Out here, you play 9 holes and you I kind of know that guy. Yeah, right. You remember. Yeah, you create relationships on the golf course. Yeah, and you move on, and But yeah, if anybody ever needs a ball marker or wants any, I kind of like always tell people like anything you need, like golf customization, just like,
send it my way.
Send it my way.
It's
let's
either
try
yes
it.
or no. Yeah.
Let's figure it out. Like I've had people reach out about like wedge stamping.
Yeah.
And
do you do that?
I would like to. I don't quite have. I think
down yet.
Yeah, and I need to try it on my own stuff, and I haven't.
Yeah.
I think I need to get a vise, and I'd have to do some things to get it leveled out.
Yeah.
Some double-sided. I've talked to a couple buddies about it, and like either double-sided. I have double-sided tape, like either magnetic block or something like that, to where I get the angle right. But last thing I want to do is get somebody who's like good wedge and screw it up. So, but I've had a handful of people reach out on that. I don't know. A lot of people get stuff for trips. Like I have a buddy that I played baseball with that lives out in South Carolina. Him and this group of guys, they do the same group, do the same trip every year.
Yeah.
Different place. They've done Bandon. This year they went to Branson and did like Paynes Valley. And
have you been down there, by the way?
I did.
I love that place.
Yeah. I got to play Ozark National in Paynes this year.
Yeah.
So it was a dream come true.
I love that place. That's where I went for my bachelor party. Yeah. We played there, played Paynes and Buffalo. Mm-hmm. And then we went back the next summer and we played Paynes and Ozark and Buffalo. Yeah. And so it's just.
I need to get back down there and play Buffalo. Yeah. Because we got to play Paynes and Ozark. But it was.
I actually think Buffalo is like the best of the three because it's just really mature. It's really established. It's been there a long time. Ozarks is great. Paynes is just so immaculately pure.
People ask me a lot about the difference, and I was like, like Paynes was my favorite because of the experience and like it's Tiger's course and it's this. And
the experience is incredible. Like the cave and the introduction to the course.
Even the drive out to like one, like and you get up over the top and you see
come
everything.
Over.
Like it's really, really tough to beat. But like if someone was at like Ozark's harder.
For sure. Well, I mean, they held a Champions Tour event there. Phil won, like
harder.
Tough golf course.
Very tough golf course. And we played it it was a work trip. So me and a buddy played Paynes solo on Sunday after the trip was over. But Saturday we played at a scramble at Ozarks. So I didn't really get the test.
Yeah.
You know, it was pretty free and all that stuff. But the whole time I'm playing, I'm like, man, if you're playing a ball here, like you're.
Yeah,
you got some decisions to make.
Yeah,
like I'm not making the same decisions I was today. But I think those courses down there were great. But
that's cool, man. We'll segue into just your game specifically. Mm-hmm. Okay, obviously better than most. Tiger is. I'm guessing your biggest inspiration in golf.
Yeah,
from a young age playing junior golf.
Yeah, okay. Loved Tiger Woods. I love.
Was there anybody else that you really?
I love Phil. Yeah. My dad was a big David Duval fan.
Yeah.
And so kind of that was like the late '90s, early 2000s.
Yeah.
I kind of like because I wasn't too involved in it. It was basically Tiger or nothing. But then Anthony Kim when he was younger.
Yeah,
and all those guys kind of come in.
He was huge, man.
They're huge. Always liked watching Ernie Els play because it was just so easy. Like he made everything.
I know.
I went through it. Like the first real nice driver I got was Cleveland.
Okay.
And Vijay Singh played Cleveland at the time. So like I was like, oh, I'm a Vijay Singh fan because I'm hitting the same driver as him.
Right.
My grandpa got to knock off Cleveland or the 5-year-old Cleveland from MC Sports back in the day and gave it to me. But no, Tiger was definitely like when I was playing golf, that's who I wanted to be.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. I think like nowadays, like there's so many people to pick because everyone's so different now.
Yeah.
Like I've really liked Rory for a long time, but if I had to pick a golfer, like Brooks would be my favorite.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
And then like what Bryson's doing, like
really
I'm checking his YouTube all the time.
It is really cool, man.
Kind of, he's changed the perception of himself and it's really fun to see. I think it's educational and it's good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would say like Brooks is probably my favorite, but I don't know, man. I like the game more than I like players right now. There's certainly like, I think Xander's great. Scotty's obviously the best of everything right now.
Yeah.
But I'm also like an aesthetic guy.
Yeah.
So like Tommy Fleetwood works for me because of swing, right? Like Xander works because the swing's so fluid.
Yeah.
Rory because he just hits high bombs and
and his swing is about as picture perfect.
Like if you're across. And it's completely different than me because I'm gonna play cuts. I'm gonna swing out to in, and and if the ball's not cutting, I'm in trouble.
Yeah.
And he's just the complete opposite. Like, the ball's gonna hoop.
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
And so like it's just a completely different game, and it's the way he shortens courses.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, it's a big advantage.
Yeah.
Were you ever somebody that looked at a golfer's game and aspects of their game and thought, oh, I want to try to implement that or pull that into my game? Or were you just somebody who said, that doesn't matter to me. I'm equipped with what I'm equipped with, and I'm going to try to just play to my strengths and what I do well at, and then try to, improve the things I'm not so good at.
Yeah, I think like growing up, I'm a really good imitator.
Okay.
So if I can see you do something, I can imitate it. I might not know what I'm doing or how I'm doing it or the technique behind it, but I can make it look just like that. And then I kind of learn through that. And that hurt me through my baseball career and helped me. And it's hurt and helped me through my golf career. And I think golf career, my golf life, I guess.
Yeah.
I would say like now it's more of I know what I'm capable of.
Yeah. You know your game.
And I'm going to stick to it. But when I was younger, it's like I never ever tried to hit a draw growing up.
Yeah.
One, because I couldn't, but two, because Tiger played cuts.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, well, Tiger plays cuts. I'll play cuts.
Yeah.
Easy, easy fix, right?
Yeah. And easy transition for a baseball player too.
So easy. Like
most baseball players
was natural.
Most hockey players hit draws. I mean,
it was natural, and I didn't have didn't have time to work on it, and two, didn't have a coach to know how to do it.
Yeah.
And as I've gotten older, it's kind of I've realized like I went through a big shallowing phase, which I think a lot of people in the golf community probably have the last couple of years with YouTube and the teaching and all that, to where I couldn't hit a cut. Like it was so uncomfortable. Like everything was hooping. I couldn't, and I was in shambles. It was this summer for about 6-7 weeks. Like it was like golf was not fun.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't trust myself anywhere. And that's when I kind of got to the point where I took some advice from like Scotty and like watching his videos. I was like, I got a grip trainer and I had some alignment rods, and I basically got to the point where I was like, okay, like I'm going to go out here and swing for 100 balls and I'm going to find my natural shot.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah. And then you found yourself back at
I found myself back home. I'm probably playing the best golf of my life going into the end of the year. And I can hit the draws or I can hit the other shots when I need to.
Yeah.
But like, if there's ever a doubt, this is what I'm going to do.
Yeah. Just go to your cut.
Kind of know like from strengths and other parts of the game, like I've started to putt the ball a lot better, but like my struggles are off the tee and 30 yards in or up and downs off the green. Like just don't practice them a lot.
Yeah.
And all this. And I swing the club at a fairly high rate and hit the ball a good way, but it's not very straight.
Yeah.
And so keeping the driver, it's almost kind of like the DeChambeau model.
Yeah.
Before he's kind of toned it down, it was like, I'm gonna hit the ball as far as I can and find it.
Yeah.
If I can get to that point, that's going to save me a lot of strokes, whereas I'm probably losing a stroke and a half, 2 strokes off the tee around right now.
Yeah, right.
And then if I do miss the green, I'm bringing in another element of like, do I miss?
Yeah.
Do I lose another one? So like those are like my biggest bugaboos, and trying not to go to like the conservative route, because like there's like we talked about, like with Roy, like there's a significant advantage when I'm in play with how long I can hit the ball.
Yeah, right.
And so it's just like a lot of work. And it's hard for me to go out here and just practice driver.
Yeah.
Like I want to hit irons because I'm good at them and wedges because I'm good at them.
Yeah.
No one wants, like, for the time that we have, I don't want to come out here and chip for 30, 40 minutes around the green. Like I want to see the ball go, because like that's where in my head I make shots. But I need to learn how to save the bad ones, you know what I mean?
For
so
sure. Yeah.
It's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah. I was the same way as the way you described. Like when I first started playing, was whenever Jordan Spieth was coming onto the scene.
Yeah.
2013, Tiger had just won 5 times. So obviously, like, you already knew what Tiger did in the previous decade and a half, but then he also has a stellar season in 2013. So that was cool to see. But Jordan Spieth was on top of the world, you know? And so for me, I really resembled with him, because I was like you. I didn't have any lessons. I was self-taught. And he had this kind of unorthodox chicken wing thing going on, but his short game was super elite. He was great putter.
He was never out of a hole.
Never out of a hole. Exactly right.
Birdie and par from anywhere.
And so that was how I tried to kind of resemble my game. But then you get to a point where you get better and you get better, and then you understand your own game enough that you migrate more towards, like you said, I'm just going to, stick to what I know I'm good at. I know my own game, and move forward with that. So.
And it's almost like day to day too. Like I get some days out there and it's like, all right, like I'm playing well, like I'm feeling the ball off the face really well. Like I can try this shot right now because I know if I do miss, I'm still okay with it. There's other days like I can't even try that.
Yeah.
Like I need to hit this, and even if I miss wherever, I'm okay.
Yeah.
Like it's very, very day to day. But I take a lot of resemblance to like that Jordan Spieth game, or kind of Phil Mickelson of like I can par from anywhere.
Yeah.
Like I'm not afraid, and that's something like in tournament golf I really had to get over. Was my first 2 tournaments this year were awful, and that's when I went in my tailspin of playing really bad golf, because I was anxious, I was nervous, I was like finally competing again, and all this. I just cared where the ball went. I cared so much about finding it or like hitting it perfect. And like lately, it's been nice like finally getting a headspace of like if I find this ball, I have a chance at par.
Yeah.
And if I'm parring, I have a chance of staying in it.
Yeah.
Because I'm the guy that like I've never shot a round under par. Best rounds even. Shoot a good bit.
That's 2025. It's coming.
Yeah, it's coming. But it's like I'm the guy. I can have 6 birdies around. Yeah, I probably have 8 bogeys or 6 bogeys and 2 doubles. Yeah, yeah. You know, so like it's never been the holes I play well. It's the holes that I lose it. It's it's the 3 bogeys in a row because you got mad, or the 2 doubles in a row because you try to hit a draw and like all you got to do is hit a fade to be safe or whatever it may be.
Lost ball off the tee. Now you're playing for double.
Now, or lost ball off the tee, and now I'm playing for. I'm trying to say bogey. Yeah. And I get over aggressive, and I bring a double or triple into play rather than like take my medicine and that type of thing. And so it's been nice to get to that point of like I don't care what happens off the tee. Yeah. And I can, and then same thing around the green. Like I'm very comfortable, unfortunately, with 5 to 8 par putts. Yeah. I wish they were a lot easier and a lot closer, but like I have a lot of those. Yeah. Yeah. And so I've gotten comfortable like having 5 to 8 foot for par, and it's not nerve wracking because I've made them. Yeah. I've proven myself to make them, and some days I do, some days I don't. Yeah. But I know on the days I do, I now just one good shot again back. I'm getting the fairway and one good shot in the green before getting a birdie and potentially getting on a roll. Yeah. Right. Right. Even par, you've shot it more than once, a few times. Yeah. I don't. Yeah. I'm not every time by any means. Right. Right. But enough that like under par, I'm comfortable. It's very close. I actually freaking played 2 Sundays ago, right before the New Year, or maybe last Sunday. Here, and I shot 1 over. And I did the thing where I got about 13, 14 holes in, and I was even. And I was like, oh, today's the day. Yeah. You can't do that. There, it happened. And it pissed me off, too, because fairways are not my thing. Yeah. Like, it's not what I'm good at yet. Yeah. I hit like the first 6 fairways. Yeah. I missed 5 greens. Yeah. And I don't miss for me in my game. I very rarely am missing greens because your iron play is pretty decent. I feel really confident, or I'm at least on the fringe, or I'm in a place where it's a 2 putt, whatever. Yeah. And I missed the first 5 greens, and I go into and I still shot. What I shoot? I shot even. I shot 1 under on the front. I only had 1 bogey, and I birdied 8-9. Yeah. And I was like, this could be the day. And I was like, really? If I hit 3 of those greens, I could be 2 or 3 under, and I'm growing into a cushion, and a bogey 10. Yeah. Bogey 10. I missed a 5-foot birdie putt on 11. Bogey 13. Yeah. And then it was before I was like, man, I gotta birdie 2 holes just to get back to even. And it's that mental game of like, I want to know where I'm at, so I know if I need to be aggressive, but also like, I'm probably better off not knowing. Yeah. 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 That's a funny topic. I mean, some people are like, I don't want to know, especially if they're playing good. If they start rattling off 2 or 3 birdies and a few pars and they haven't made a mistake on the day, it's like, am I 1 under? Am I 3 under? I don't know. You start thinking your shots, and then you don't think about this shot. And the shot goes haywire. And I'm the exact opposite. I always want to know. Like I for me, it's the scoreboard. Like I think it's important to know. I mean, there's not a play clock going, but there is. I mean, the end of the round's coming. You know, like that's just me though. But I've learned on that point in tournaments, like kind of do your research before. Like, I'm going to play this APT tour. I'll check the other guy's profile. Like, what has he shot where comparative to me? Yeah. What's his handicap? Okay, I'm going to this tournament. There's 8 of us. Like, all right, these are the 3 guys. Yeah. Yeah. Like, what can I expect them to shoot, and kind of have an idea. So I go into the round with not necessarily wanting to know every hole, but having an idea in my head of like where I need to be to give myself a chance. Yeah. And first handful of tournaments that really hurt me because I wasn't playing good golf at the time. Yeah. I knew that it was out here. I knew that like probably 72 to 74 was going to win it. Yeah. And I was 4 over through 6 or 5 over, whatever it was. Yeah. It was miserable golf, and I knew I'm out of it. Yeah. Right. So I think it's been good to learn of like an idea of like what I need to shoot. But like in tournaments, I think you need to know. Yeah. Because you need to know how aggressive you need to play. If you're just playing out here with your buddies and you're playing a skins game, it doesn't matter because you're probably better off not thinking about it so you don't make it serious. Yeah. But if you're playing in a tournament, it's competitive. I think it's better to at least have an idea so you know what you need to do. Because there's going to come a point in the round where like this is the make or break point. Like, I either save par here with this shot or I'm out of it. Or I need 2 in a row here to get where I need to be. I think it's important. Yeah. Yeah.
for me personally, I've definitely been down that road too, where it's like you basically find out where the bar is.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Where's the bar set? And you go, okay, well, I need to do this. And not to try to give you advice or anything, but in my own experience, that never served me well, because then I'm thinking about a number. It's like you go into the day, I need to shoot 66 today. And it's like, well, for me, it's just, that's proved to be less beneficial than just, hey, what's my process? What's my routine look like? And let's execute that 18 holes in a row. And if that produces my best round and it's a 66, great. If it doesn't and it produces a 76, well, then so be it. But at least I can, I committed to controlling what I could control, as opposed to
that's a good point.
But
that definitely
maybe just food for thought for you.
I mean, I've been in that. That's the scenario, right? Like you're coming here and it's like, okay, I need to shoot 74. It's like, and I haven't shot 74 in 8 weeks.
There you go.
Like, that's a really good day for me, so I got to be perfect. And then you're not perfect in the first 3 holes, and then your day is over.
And then you chalk it up to
it is, yeah. And so I probably for me, I think it's somewhere in the middle there of like, I like, well, one, I want to have a goal for myself on the day, and then like it. And some of the tournaments, it's been like, for like your group, you have a group of 4, and like that's your tournament. Like, I don't care what I shoot, I'm just gonna beat them.
Yeah.
And that goes back to like the USGA stuff and the mid-am and the amateurs. Like, I think like if I would probably rate a lot higher as a match play player, because I could bogey 3 or 4 holes in a row, but I could birdie 6 too.
Yeah, right.
My strokes isn't going to be the same as the guy that just pars out and gets a couple birdies, but like I can outgrind people a little bit because I play in a lot, probably not as clean lies and different angles than other people. You know what I mean? So I'm more comfortable in those situations.
Yeah, for sure. Well, man, I'm looking forward to us getting to play together. And like I said, hopefully, if you're willing, call me up, man. I want a caddy for you. I think those tournaments that I do play in, you only get a caddy if it's given to the whole field. Oh, okay. But yeah, I'm really don't think I'm going to do that open qualifier. Like, I know I'm not ready. Yeah. Like I know I'd be going at. You mean the Missouri amateur qualifier, or you like
my buddy really wants me to go with him.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm right on the line of like having a low enough handicap that I could sign up to go.
Yeah.
And he says he's like, you're good enough to go play in it with me. He's like, but
I can't encourage you enough to do it, man, because it boosts your confidence. Because what you have to remember, Breckin, is the golf course is just the golf course.
Right.
The field is better. Yeah. No doubt, guaranteed. But it is just a golf course. And so, you lower your expectation of, I've never been in this position before. I never played with this field of competitors before, but it's just a golf course. You can still go out and maybe surprise yourself, shoot 75, and then you miss going to sectionals by 2 or 3 strokes. But that just breeds
confidence
and a ton of confidence.
And that's what my buddy that's a pro up there is telling me.
Michigan,
he's like, you got to do it.
Yeah.
He's like, you're never gonna find out.
Correct.
Unless you do it.
Yeah.
I want to find out whenever I'm a little better.
You feel
I'd like.
I mean, you definitely don't want to get into it when you don't have the confidence.
Yeah.
Right? So I agree with that. But.
Yeah, and so I think it's probably a 2026 thing.
Okay.
Like if I do what I need to do this year and improve.
Yeah.
But I want to I'm still not getting on a tee box with a driver and like feeling real confident where it's going. I feel confident I'm going to find it.
Yeah.
But I'm not feeling really great about.
Well, I mean, when you got a high club head speed, man. I mean, the stats have been there now ever since the ShotLink era. That, I mean, the further you get, the closer you get to the hole off the tee, the better chance you have of making a lower score, right? But the further you hit it, also the higher dispersion you're going to have. There's a reason the old men that have a 94 club head speed don't miss fairways because the ball doesn't have that much time to get offline, right? So, I mean, dude, that's just the truth. But I mean, you play to your strengths, and your strength is I'm going to go out and play aggressive, grip it and rip it,
And there's definitely a happy medium of it because I feel like I'm a pretty solid wedge player. Like I feel, you get me 145 in, like I feel really confident that
something inside 25, 30 feet.
I'm gonna par. And I'm not I don't really have a set process of like how I attack holes yet, but I've realized when I've been playing well, it's like I'm hitting to areas that I want to putt from. I'm not trying to make it. Whereas usually you look at a pin, okay, I cut it, I aim 5 feet left, and I hit it.
Yeah.
Now it's more of like, okay, and following the decade golf and stuff like that, kind of figuring out like a lot of times it's a club down thing, like especially with a guy like I'm very steep, spin the ball a lot. Like managing spin is very important to me because I will rip it 30 feet off the green with a 6-iron.
Yeah.
Like it's very, so like being cognizant of that and understanding, okay, the spin's in this position. I want the ball to be right of it. How do I get that ball to stay there? Because it's not, a lot of times, unless I'm taking a club down and taking 3/4 swing, it's not a stock shot.
Yeah, right.
I have to flip.
Most of the time, you rarely have a perfect number.
Right, rarely have a perfect number, so I'm either clubbing down and hitting it soft, or I'm having to hit a really high, really hard wedge that I have to make sure I don't spin, knowing it's going to.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of stuff that goes into it, but I'm realizing how to manage that.
Yeah.
And it's like not having too many of those like 60-foot putts anymore.
Yeah.
Or like
right.
oh God, how am I going to get this in a 2? It's like
Yeah.
I hit a shot and maybe I'm 30 feet, but like, hey, I'm on the right side. I got an uphill putt.
Yeah.
I can very easily leave this 2 feet below the hole and tap in.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so kind of getting to that point. But with the U.S. Open and the mid-am, I'm not too worried about. Like, I think I'll go out and compete, and it is what it is. And
the U.S. Amateur, too, you know.
Do it all, right?
Yeah.
Do it all in Missouri and see what happens. But the Open qualifier, I want to be in a better spot.
Yeah.
I want to feel confident about chipping out of the green. Like, I don't ever practice out of the bunker. Like, I have one bunker shot.
Yeah.
Like, I know it's going to go 15 yards and it's not going to roll out. So that is what it is. You know what I mean? And like, I've accepted that because I don't practice it enough. And I need to clean up that stuff and just have a couple more options and trust something a little more. But hopefully one day. Right?
Yeah.
Like, that's the goal. And we'll see. If you embarrass yourself, like, I'm going to go home. I'm going to go home and I'm going to be happy. And that's what I've been trying to realize. Like, it's not my job.
Yeah.
Like, baseball was my job at one point. Like, you go out there and get embarrassed. Like, I go out tomorrow and I got to do it again, or I'm going home. Like, I lose it.
Yeah. Well, and nobody cares, right? Like, you go out and shoot an 87, 88. Nobody cares. But you also go out and shoot a 72, 71, 68. Still nobody cares. You just care a lot more in a really positive way, and your wife cares a lot more in a positive way.
You're going home, you're in a lot better mood.
And your boys care a lot more in a positive way. But that's it, right? So
your boys like, hey man, tough one today, or like they're like, hey, let's get beers, man, great round. Let's talk about it. Like, it is very fun. And it is a good point that no one, like, even like I found myself, like, the more I've played, like, I've played more golf this year than I have, with the new job and actually having weekends and stuff like that. But you know, when you talk to your buddies that don't play a lot of golf, it's like, hey, I shot this the other day. Hey, I shot that. Yeah. Now you come out here and no one cares. No one cares if you shot the course record the day before. Yeah. Like, what are we betting on today's game? Correct. Yeah. That was the other day. That's done. What's don't care. Like, what do we have today? Like, what are we playing? Is it Wolf? You know? Yeah. 9 point, whatever it may be. No one cares what you shoot. Yeah. And no one cares. Like, that's what I love about like this club, and like, I would say probably most of the clubs out there is you can play with anybody and have a good time. Absolutely. Like, you'll find a game, or no one wants to play. Like, you'll play with different dudes, and no one, like, you can play with a 20 handicap. And, that's the coolest part about golf is the handicapping system. Mm-hmm. It gives a scratch guy an opportunity to have a competitive match against a 10 handicap. Yeah, you know. Tell me about your LIV PGA thoughts. Obviously, I mean, that's been a roller coaster for the last 3 years. Yeah, you know, I would say I'm a PGA guy. Like, I was, traditionalist. I wasn't, from that standpoint, I wasn't happy when, like, Phil and Brooks. Yeah. Bubba didn't really surprise me. There's some other guys that didn't surprise me, but, like, when kind of like the good core, like Bryson, all those guys, I was upset just because I thought the game of, I thought the PGA Tour was diminished, and it was, because they lost, 3 or 4 of the top 20 players in the world. Yeah. From a personal side, or like professional athlete background, go where the money's at. Yeah, for sure, right? Like, I can't fault them. Well, and now look at it. 3 years later, they're looking like geniuses. Shit, we should have done that. Yeah, and like, you know, it bothered me how the whole Rory situation turned out. Like, he, put his chest out there and was like, "This is how things should have been," blah blah. And Monahan and the PJ just kind of was like sacrificial lamb. Screwed him, man. Yeah, they just did it, and that bothered me more than anything. Yeah. But yeah, I go where the money's at. Like, if you're in that situation, you offer me guaranteed money to sign a piece of paper and then still play golf, and I get more time with my family. Right. Like, that's what I'm doing on a daily basis. Dustin Johnson said it best, man. Yeah. Less work and I get more money. Yeah. Like, anybody in the right mind would take it. Yeah. And especially when you had a career like him, like, you check all the boxes. Yeah. Right. I do hope they come back. I do hope there's some sort of. I think there has to be, right? Because the one thing that is the absolute general consensus is everybody wants to see the best players in the world play against each other more often. Yeah. Right? Signature events on the PGA Tour are great. The majors are great. But if it doesn't actually have the best players in the world, there's an asterisk there. There's a little bit of an asterisk there. Yeah. And I don't know what it looks like yet. I don't know if there's, like, I don't think there'll ever be. I don't see too many PGA Tour guys going to play on the LIV Tour, but you're going to see the LIV guys get to play on the PGA Tour. So I don't know what that looks like.
Yeah.
I hope there's something where it comes down to like world golf rankings. Maybe like if you're top 50, top 85, whatever, pick your number.
Yeah.
You can go play whatever events you want.
Yeah.
Both tours get the points. You play whatever event you want. Those points for the LIV go to the LIV Tour. PGA goes to the PGA.
Yeah.
And then you pick your schedule.
Yeah.
And then if PGA wants to have tournaments every month, cool.
Yeah.
Or every week, and then LIV's going to do, 2
Yeah.
a month, 1 a month, whatever it is. Cool.
Right.
You pick your events and you go.
Yeah.
I don't know what that looks like, but I think they got to get all the fields back together.
Yeah.
And then I think I heard somewhere that they're talking about doing like combined events potentially of like LIV and PGA, to where like 1 a month would be like they come play.
That'd be pretty sweet.
That could be like just completely falsified. I have no credibility behind that, but I felt like I heard that somewhere where that was part of the talk. So like they're gonna have both their tours, but then like one tournament a month.
Yeah.
Basically, the guys can play on the PGA Tour,
right? Or
they play together. Like I said, I don't think Justin Thomas and Rory McIlroy are going to go play in Adelaide, or go go play in Chicago on the LIV Tour.
Yeah.
But like I think you're going to see
there's a lot of other guys
you want from LIV.
Yeah.
Come back and play more often.
One thing I really loved that LIV did that I kind of wish would be the case on all professional golf tours is they brought more of the major sporting environment to golf with the music and the rowdiness.
Make it less serious.
Make it less serious, man. There's a reason that golf is a hard sport to grow, because it's really long, it's really drawn out, and it's not exciting, man. You're watching grass go, unless you're a golf sicko that just loves the sport for the sport. It can be boring, and I totally get that. But I would like to see that. I mean, the Waste Management is a perfect example of what that environment does for the game. It draws an incredible crowd that no other event comes close to. So,
and it's known for it. And
right.
But then you also, like last year, like some of the players complaining about it being too red. It's like
and there's a line. There's a line. There's a line.
But yeah, that was the only one thing that people were like, golf's so boring. I'm like, well, not if, like I'm a golf sicko, so like I go home, golf's on. It's quiet, nothing on in the house. I can sit there and watch it for hours.
Yeah.
My wife's like, nothing's happening. Like there's no action. And I'm like, okay, like well, let's watch football then.
Yeah.
Like, let's do something else.
Yeah.
But bringing that little like football, basketball atmospheres would be good, I think.
Yeah.
Or just liven it up a little bit.
Yeah,
let them wear shorts. Like.
Yeah,
no one cares.
Let's get past that, man.
Yeah, that's like the, we were taught getting the Pro Bowl, like you never wear your hat backwards.
Yeah,
like that's just an unwritten rule. Like 4 years later, everyone's in the clubhouse. We got hats backwards.
Really?
Like, yeah, not on the field. Like, come on. Like,
right.
We're not
animals.
Yeah, we're not animals out here. But like, that was just a thing, or just like all like the unwritten rules of sports and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, what's the reason we're wearing pants? Like, it's not a gentleman's game anymore. It's not a status game anymore.
This is a professional cutthroat sport. Let's not pretend like it's anything different.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about 2025 major picks. So, Masters, followed by PGA at Quail US Open at Oakmont, and then the Open Championship at Royal Portrush. So, Masters.
Who do you have? Because I'm for me, like I don't know enough about the courses that I have. Like I'm gonna just go off my gut feeling. I'm not gonna have stats or like.
That's all right. That's all right. My thing is, who do I want and who do I pick? Who do I want to win the Masters is my son's namesake, Rory McIlroy. That's who I want to get it done, man. I want him to win it. Who do I think is gonna win? I think Scotty's gonna win it again. I mean, pending how he comes from this tiny little injury, it's hard to bet against the guy. And Augusta is such a place of how are you on and around the greens, and his short game's better than anybody. So I think it's hard to bet against Scotty.
Yeah. I want Rory to win it because I want him to get his fifth. I want Tim to do
the Grand Slam.
And the Grand Slam, right? Because he doesn't have the Masters, right?
Correct.
Yeah. I really like Rory. I've grown to like him more through this PGA LIV thing because it's just like
he's become outspoken.
It takes a lot to just stand up like that. And then get slammed and just continue chugging.
Yeah.
And like that whole, like the PGA LIV match the other day, like that was a statement.
Yeah.
Like he came out there. Like Bryson said the stuff the day before in the rain.
Yeah.
He made a statement.
That was so funny though.
Like that was
he teed himself up for that, but that was it.
It was so funny. But like you could see a little bit more of like the way he was walking wasn't like this is a charity match.
Yeah, it was personal.
Yeah, like
it was
the dude
100% personal.
And he sent a message, and I think he's primed. I would love to see him win. That's who I want to win.
Yeah.
I think Xander's got a really good shot too.
Yeah, I agree.
Distance might
played well
come
Augusta.
in issue. he just does everything so well, and he's coming off 2 major wins already year before. So but I think like you can't bet against Scotty. But I want Rory to win. I think Xander has a great. I think Xander's probably my pick.
Yeah. Xander's good. I really like Xander. I've liked him for a long time, and he's had consistently good finishes at Augusta and down there in Georgia. So, PGA Championship at Quail Hollow. So the Wells Fargo Championship, that's also at Quail Hollow. Who do you got there?
Again, if I saw Quail Hollow, I would know it.
Yeah,
I obviously know the name, but off the top of my head, I'm not sure.
Yeah,
who I would want. I'd love to see JT get another one. He seems to have success in the PGA Championships.
Yeah.
He seemed pretty confident talking before the Century going on right now.
Yeah.
About like having a year like Scotty and rolling off a bunch of wins. So I think he's feeling a lot more confident.
Yeah.
I'd love to see him get hot and make it happen. But.
So JT has won at Quail Hollow before, whether you knew that or not. So that's a good pick. That was actually who I was going to go with at Quail Hollow. Rory won the Wells Fargo, which was at Quail Hollow last year, and so he's a guy that again I expect to be up at the top of the leaderboard, But I also concern myself a little bit with how damaging was that collapse last year at the U.S. Open to his major psyche. I mean, he's already been on this drought of 10 years now, majorless, and then unfortunately that happens. So it was so hard to watch. I mean, I wanted to throw up watching that last year, but okay. So we'll both take JT at Quail Hollow.
I like JT.
So U.S. Open Championship at Oakmont up in Pennsylvania. So Dustin Johnson won there in 2016. I'm going with Bryson again. I think he goes back-to-back at the U.S. Open. I feel like
it's tough to pick a guy who hit the ball that far and is that accurate.
Yeah, and it's very tough. And it plays a big role at a U.S. Open,
especially. I know Oakmont a little more, but I don't know. Again, I want to go back to like guys I know and like that I like win. This doesn't make any sense, but I'd love to see Tommy Fleetwood pull it out.
I know, man. I want him to get it done.
I don't know if he's long enough for a U.S. Open. Like I think it's too many 5-6 irons in the greens.
Yeah, right. The firm, fast greens.
Firm, fast, hardest you're going to play all year. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it need to be I think it's either going to be like you said, like Bryson, one of the top 5 players in the world.
Yeah.
Or it's going to be like what's the young guy hits it a mile. He won last year. Not Badgley. Swings the hell out of it.
American guy?
Mm-hmm. Gosh dang it. He's playing in the Century right now. I just watched him yesterday. Kind of like curly hair. He
Jake Knapp. UCLA boy. Yeah.
I think like I love his swing.
He's due, man.
And I kind of like he's giving me a lot of confidence of like I get a little bit past parallel especially with the driver. I get very long and like watching him do it is giving me confidence. Like, I don't need to change much. I just need to like figure it out.
Yeah.
But no, I really like watching him play because I think he hits the ball a mile.
He does hit the ball a mile.
He's like I was watching him walk around the green yesterday, and I think he was walking with Morikawa, I think, and who somebody else. But he looks like an athlete. Like he looked bigger.
Yeah.
And I was like, I like that. So I think it's going to, like Bryson, I think it's a great pick. But I think he definitely has, a guy like that has a chance. So some of these young guys that come in, they can just
they can bomb it. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Well, and he's a really good iron player too. And then so those are the two.
And that, again, I have no statistics off of this.
That's all right.
Like I'm more picking the guys who I'd want to see win because I think they're good for the game.
Yeah.
Thing, but.
Yeah,
I need to get more into this stat side when looking at stuff like this. But it's fun to
what's hypothetical. What's funny about that is as much as stats and analytics play a massive role in all of sports, it's really funny how so much of that doesn't matter in the moment of truth, and it comes down to the intangibles. Yeah, right. So it's like that plays a role a little bit, but at the end of the day, there's case after case after case where
I think Knapp's like a dark horse for for Augusta too, because
same reason.
Hit the damn ball a mile.
Yeah,
like he's gonna just Tiger Woods it and just have irons and everything.
Yeah,
every par 5's in jeopardy. And
yeah, for sure.
Now, like again, like the intangibles, is he mentally tough enough? Can he make enough putts?
Yeah.
Can he make his up and down? Who knows?
Yeah. But. So moving to Royal Portrush, I'm going with Brooks Koepka. So he got his start on the tour, on the European tour, right? And so he knows how to play golf over there. He's come close, in Open championships. And so obviously,
because he has 2 Open, 2 Masters.
No, so Brooks has got
2 PGA,
3 PGAs, 2 U.S. Opens.
2 U.S. Opens.
Yeah.
Doesn't he have a Masters too?
No.
Brooks Koepka hasn't won the Masters.
No. He
really
came close in 2019 whenever Tiger beat him. He was in the lead, and then he dumped one in the water.
Yeah. I love Brooks. I think he has the most like non-golf or mindset of anybody. Like he just grinds.
He's just a competitor, dude.
Yeah, just a competitor. He goes out there like he doesn't like you watch him hit like the worst shot.
He's a baseball player. You know what I mean?
Care. Like literally doesn't care. He's like, I think I saw some video one time. He said, he's like, if you really think about it, he's like, we miss every shot until we get in. Like we're trying to get the ball in the hole every shot, and we only do it one time a hole.
Yeah.
So he's like, why am I getting upset?
Yeah.
I love him for any of the Opens just because of how tough they play.
That's exactly right. He's a grinder, dude, and that's why he's had so much success in the U.S. Open.
I think I like that pick, and then I still go back to like Tommy Fleetwood. I think like from over there.
Yeah. Well, and he's been really close at the Open.
He's been so close so many times, and he just the way he can flight the ball.
I know.
Like he's gonna have that 3/4 follow through. Like his whole game, I think, fits for it. It literally just comes down to 2 or 3 putts, 2 or 3 chips on the weekend, and he's typically right there.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know. Who's a dark horse for that, you think?
Maybe somebody like I don't know if you could call like Ludwig Aberg like a dark horse really, just because he's so leading. I think he's like 3rd or 4th in the world, but he's not won a major championship. You know,
until he does. Yeah.
I think he could be. I think like Shane Lowry, like he's always right there. So it's like you kind of expect him to be right there. Like, Robbie, same thing.
All those guys from over there. It starts raining and they start smiling.
Yeah, literally.
God,
literally.
Yeah. No, I like those picks.
Well, Breckin, man, I think that's it for this episode of Three Local Pod.
That was great, man.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming on and giving me the time. Yeah. We'll get out there and play soon. Like I said, for you guys, I'm gonna attach his info for Better Than Most Golf Medals. Check him out. Send him a DM. Sounds like he's got the ability to get some orders shipped out wherever you are. So if you're in Australia, he'll get you one.
Figure it out.
If you're in China, he'll
figure it out. It does take quite a while to get there, but we will figure it out.
Yeah.
Like I will work with you, and we'll make whatever work. So
yeah, for sure.
Appreciate the time, man. It was great.
Thank you so much.
Awesome. Yeah,
absolutely.
playing.
Like, comment, subscribe, guys. We'll see you in the next one.